Hello there, and welcome to the Empire. Today I am excited to say that we're back with more Star Wars. After a few months of nothing, we're getting back into it. Which is crazy to think how Star Wars content we get nowadays compared to back then, when we had to wait years just to see anything. But they were special. Now speaking of special, I'm glad we're getting back into the animation because Star Wars animation is some of my favorite, especially growing up with the Clone Wars. It's good to see it again. So officially, welcome to the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 1, Spoils of War. One more thing before we start, I'm going to be doing breakdowns for all the Bad Batch Season 2, as well as the Mandalorian Season 3 coming in March. So we're going to be going over breakdowns for a few months, so hopefully you enjoy. I'll try to go over everything you might have missed in this episode, or there may even be some things that I missed, so feel free to let me know in the comments. Let's begin. The episode starts off with Clone Force 99, specifically Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo running from a horde of giant crabs after retrieving a package from this tropical island. While Tech and Omega are back on the Marauder. We see that Omega is supposed to be studying every Imperial ship in the fleet. We see that the ship she is currently studying is the V-Wing, used mostly for escorts, which we see later in this episode and then the second. Hunter calls for Tech and Omega to come pick him up as they're being chased. During their departure, they're attacked by some crabs, so Omega pulls out an energy bow and starts shooting them. This energy bow was specifically used by Zygerian slavers, who Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Commander Cody all posed as at one point, with Ahsoka being their slave. These energy bows were also used by the Night Sisters of Dathomir, who were an ancient order of witches who used the magic flowing from the depths of their planet. They had a different design for their energy bows, which more resembled a longbow. After firing at some more crabs, Tech picks up Omega and they go on to collect the rest of the team with their cargo. They return to Cid's parlor after a successful mission and are greeted by AZ, who is a medical droid from Kamino that helped out Fives during his time near the end of the war. Cid introduces the team to Phee, who says she is the most trustworthy pirate she knows, so take that as you will. We find out that the cargo from their mission is being given to Phee, so that might come into play in a later episode. Cid then offers them a job on Serrano, Count Dooku's homeworld, to steal a war chest from his castle, which we've seen a couple times in the Clone Wars during his meetings with Sidious or other instances. Echo explains to Omega how Dooku was a Jedi before he betrayed the Republic and returned to his homeworld and continued being Count so he could lead the Separatists in the war. We got to see that portrayal last year in Tales of the Jedi when Dooku betrayed the Jedi and killed Master Yaddle. Cid then explains that the Empire is already collecting the war chests, which I believe is because Palpatine might be after some of Dooku's valuables. Not necessarily the credits and gems, but something he'd find more interesting like Sith artifacts or remnants. The rest of Count Dooku's wealth was acquired from worlds he exploited and controlled during the war, even his own. Hunter turns down Cid's offer, saying it's too dangerous, since they've been laying low for a few months after what happened on Kamino. He goes to help Omega study a bit more. This time they're discussing shuttle types. Omega says the type is a Lambda-class shuttle, which is a T-4A shuttle used most by high-ranking officers or Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. While Hunter and Omega study, the rest of the team votes to go to Serrano and collect one of the war chests to help them in the long run. Hunter is then compelled to go. On their way to Serrano, Echo speaks to Hunter about why he wants to get the war chest, so they can fight the Empire and help out others just like they helped Omega. Once they arrive on the planet, they take a quick hike over the mountain where they find the city has been destroyed by an Imperial orbital bombardment, leaving nothing but ruins. They then spot Castle Serrano, along with Class 4 container transports already leaving with some of the war chests. The squad splits up, Hunter being on the lookout while the rest go collect some of the loot. They enter the Imperial shipyard, which is being patrolled by Imperial clone troopers led by Captain Wilco, which is great to see another new clone introduced through the series. And through the first two episodes you can see that he's an effective leader and actually cares for his company, which is a nice detail. Hunter plants a few detonators on some V-Wings there to escort the transports, while the rest of the team searches the war chests and then ends up finding a giant crate full of credits they decide to take. A clone trooper patrolling the shipyard spots them, but is hit with a stun by Wrecker. One thing I loved during the first two episodes is that Clone Force 99 would fire stuns at the other clone troopers. Even though they were very different from normal clones, and a lot of regs usually didn't like the Bad Batch, they still considered them brothers and knew they were being controlled by the chips in their heads, so they did their best not to kill them. After the clone is stunned by Wrecker, the rest get suspicious and Captain Wilco orders his men to find out what happened. That's when Hunter blows up the V-Wings, which causes Wilco to order the remaining transports to take off. Wrecker is able to escape the transport and meet up with Hunter, but Tech, Echo, and Omega get trapped on the ship during the departure. Wrecker and Hunter are forced to give themselves away as they begin a firefight to get to the shuttle. They desperately attempt to save the rest but fail and are forced to jump from the transport before it climbs any further. They land on Dooku's castle, Hunter Pirate of the Caribbean style and Wrecker not so gracefully. After entering, they make their way to Count Dooku's now battle-damaged office, which you instantly recognize if you've seen the Clone Wars. Some of the glass from the window is broken, which could be caused from when the Night Sisters ambushed him and threw him out the window, but I don't think the broken glass lines up with that scene. Meanwhile, the trio stuck on board the transport fight off waves of clone troopers while trying to make their way to an escape pod. But the Imperial clones figure this out and send all the pods out, giving Omega a chance to prove her studying has paid off when she gives Tech and Echo the idea to escape using the cargo vessel due to their re-entry thrusters. Back at the castle, Hunter and Wrecker are surrounded by clones still in Dooku's office. While taking cover behind his desk, Hunter figures out that there's a secret lift that can be used to escape. The controls for it are all jammed, so Wrecker jumps on it to release it and they make their escape. The other three finally make it to the cargo container. Tech releases the entire thing and they go flying towards the planet, hoping the thrusters will turn on soon, and we cut to black. I personally loved this first episode. It was a great introduction back to the team and to see where they are now. I'll also be posting the episode 2 breakdown shortly after this, so make sure to go check that one out as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you can catch all the future breakdowns on this channel and join the Empire. I'll see you all in the next one, and may the Force be with you, my friends.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. You're not a Jedi yet.